So a lot of my friends have actually asked me to record a video about my journey from going from a cushy corporate job to launching my own company. So simple answer is that it wasn't easy and it's never easy. I have tried doing this, I think, once before. Almost got close to leaving my job, but then COVID hit and obviously we didn't move forward. And then personal circumstances, my mom was unwell. I was working at a really good job that I enjoyed doing, but then I think it was just time to do something different. And I always had this urge, like even since I graduated college, of trying to do something on my own. Always tried to do like some side hustles. I've done styling before, I've done dancing before, but they weren't like real startups, right? They weren't like real careers. Also, social media was not a thing back then. So that's why I've never been super active on social. But it took me a while to actually make the jump. And how it started was I was at JLo Beauty at the time. So, just quick thing about my background is I started my career at Procter and Gamble, and I've always been extremely ambitious. So, not even to brag, but in college, if you're young, if you're I don't know if that advice applies to the Gen Z now, but when I was younger, I tried to get every internship possibly that I could. I tried to get the biggest brand names on my resume. I worked at Johnson and Johnson. I worked at Whirlpool in college. I also did some, mortgage, real estate stuff on the side as well. So I always had the hustle in me. My first job out of college was P&G. So that's, Consumer Mother Hub. After that, I really wanted to be in beauty, so I made the shift to L'Oreal. So that was my first stint in beauty. I was in prestige my whole career. Then I moved to Chanel and eventually Estee Lauder, and most recently, I was with like a PE fund. They incubate celebrity brands, and that is really was a turning point for me because I learned how to build brands from scratch. I had worked on many celebrity brands, including Ellen DeGeneres, including Jennifer Lopez. And before I left my job, I was on the JLo team, on the brand. I was running a department there. And, just that was one of the brands that I had built from scratch and touched every element of the brand. So that's really when I started to feel like that prepared me to build my own company, because in other jobs that you do, you're kind of siloed into one function. So I've spent over 10 years in corporate America learning every business, moved into strategic roles, moved into M&A. So that really made me understand, like, it's very important to know how to do the ops side, financials, understand sales and marketing, at least at a high level, because eventually when you launch your own company, there's fundamental things that you have to know and should know, especially if you're kind of doing it on your own. For me, when I made the plunge, I had a very cushy job and I was quite comfortable there, but it was post COVID, and I just had this feeling in me that I have to do something bigger. I have to do something with my life that I'm super passionate about. So one thing is passion. You have to have the grit and you have to be willing to work hard. I worked very long hours in my life. So to me, it was more like, okay, my mom has cancer. I'm home with her. I also have time to focus on something that I really enjoy doing. And that's when I said to myself, I'm just going to try this. So, just try to find time in your free time to learn, to study the markets, to research about what you want to do. And that's what I did. And when I was ready to quit, I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm going to focus some time on myself and try to build a brand. So because of my background, I have worked a lot on the, product development side. So I really knew and had contacts in the industry with, from formulation. I knew exactly what I wanted to build. I did a lot of research. I studied a lot. I had packaging contacts. I knew how the whole supply chain worked. And I will say I'm very good at that. So that was like my bread and butter. And for me, that came so easy. So I was actually able to launch a product in 6 months' time just because I knew that side of brand creation, product creation so well. So that's why it was a little bit easier for me to build my brand. The advice I would give to the younger me and people that are trying to make the jump over to a startup and they have a cushy job but they're too scared to quit, couple of things. First thing first, know what you want to launch while you have your job. Do some side hustle of like either work in that space, get some experience, talk to a lot of people if you don't have experience in that space. For me, having experience is the most important thing that you can do for yourself, because you want to know how to build whatever industry. Like, let's say you want to get a beauty company, like make sure you have worked in that space. The second thing is, make sure before you quit you have enough savings. I would say at least 1 to 3 years. If not, a lot of people can't do that. I know it's like things are very expensive, it's hard to save. I didn't save for the longest time, but try to cut down your expenses. You'll have to change your lifestyle, and also make sure you have at least 1 to 2 years of money saved. The third thing I will say is, have a good network of people, family, friends that can help you, with fundraising, that can help you with advice. And a learning lesson for me was I never really did social media. I'm starting to do it now, but having your following, building your community, having a voice, it is so important. I wish I could do things differently, and that's something that I would have done differently if I had another chance. So that would be my advice to you guys. And when it comes to product development, supply chain, how to build a company, the fundamentals of like what's the first thing to do, trademarks, registration, patents, all of that, shoot me a note, DM me, message me, and I'm always willing to help people. And one thing I've always done is like always help people. So that's something I truly believe in. Karma, what goes around comes around. So I try to help as many people as I can. So if you have any questions, ask me. We will do a part 2 on another topic related to how to make the plunge and when is the right time to just switch over.